Hello, Marnie.
How are you?
Good, good, good. Thanks so much for speaking to me this evening. I really appreciate that. I'm
Hey, I
Jack.
want to apologize first off for missing my calendar the other day. I really apologize, and thank you so
Oh, not a
much for
problem.
making another date for me. I really
Oh,
appreciate that.
oh, absolutely understandable. And I'm Jack Cool from Kaylee Radio, Cape Breton's internet radio station. And today I have best-selling author Marni Spencer Devlin, and she has a new book out called The List Method, which is going to be released February 14th, so close to Valentine's Day. And what this book does, it offers a guaranteed science-based way for finding the love of your life. And Marnie, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And tell me about this book. It's how is this book guaranteed to find the love of your life?
Well, hi, Jack. Thanks so much for having me on your show. First of all, I'm excited to be here. So, what the list method does, the actual book is called The List Method, the science based way to find the love of your life. And what the list method does, it sort of hacks the way people go about finding love. It sort of upends it a little bit in doing that.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Now, I've always been told that, well, I have a girlfriend. I've been going out for the last 6 years.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. I've always told that in the first thing of recognizing love is to love yourself first. I mean, you can love somebody, but if you don't love number one, then that's not a good thing. So
That
that's the
is
list method based. Does this book kind of tap into that?
That is absolutely, that's the crux of it. You went straight to the heart of it, Jack.
Oh,
Because look at what people do these days.
mhm.
They go out there and they go out dating willy-nilly anybody that comes along, and they sort of pick from the available inventory, and then they try to make their needs match their needs to what's available and sort of supplant their own needs, and then sort of kind of try and make it work. Because heck, the lonely, you can't be too picky. Otherwise, you'll never find what you're looking for. And so they just sort of try and make it work. And that obviously that is such an act of not loving yourself. Like you're saying, self-love is the biggest thing. If you don't put yourself first,
Mhm.
even on an airplane, they say in case of emergency, put your own mask over your own face first. Even if there's children, you still have to be taking care of yourself first, because you're no good to anyone when you're passed out on the floor. You can't pour from an empty vessel. So obviously, since you're in a successful 6-year relationship, you know that you have to put yourself first.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And of course, the list method is a simple step-by-step way to find the love of your life using nutrient science and try and true strategies to help you uncover and clear away your barriers to a successful relationship.
Well, yeah, that's the way. The first thing you have to recognize is, how does the mind work in order to get to those barriers,
Oh,
those
yeah.
internal barriers that we have in our relationship? What does that mean by that? So you have to understand how the mind works. That's what I'm talking about when I say the science-based way to
Right.
find the love of your life. So figure out how the mind works. And what I mean by that is you have to understand that we see the world through the framework of our beliefs. In fact, whatever you believe is true about, that's what you keep meeting over and over again. So if you feel that all the good ones are already taken, or everybody lies, everybody cheats. I did a survey among my readers, women readers, and 2/3 of them came back and said their guy cheated on them.
Right.
And it was shocking to me that that many women were in relationships where the guys cheated. But then you say, well, why does this happen to them over and over again? Why does bad luck seem to follow them? And it is because we see the world through our own beliefs. So that is a belief. That's the only thing that they're going to keep seeing. And there's a scientific reason for why we keep seeing our own beliefs show up over and over again, because that's the way the mind works. We have this little center in our brain called the reticular activating system. Difficult
Wow.
name, but it's a little tiny center in the brain, and it does a very, very important job. It sorts and filters all the information that comes at us on a daily basis. We're not aware of it, but there are billions of bits of information coming at us. And if we saw everything, we would not be able to make sense of it. The world would just be one great big jumble. As an example, people that suffer from schizophrenia, they have a non-functioning reticular activating system. They see everything all at once and nothing makes sense to them. So the reticular activating system takes all the information and sorts it and makes it all nice and neat so that the world makes sense to us. It filters out the extraneous and leaves in only what we need. Of course, then you could ask, well, how does it decide what's extraneous and what's truly important? And the parameters that it uses to filter out that information are your beliefs.
Wow.
So if there's something that you see that you already believe, it lets it straight through to you, just unfiltered, comes right on in. If it's something that you don't really believe, information that comes is, I don't really believe that, it gets treated a certain way. You see it and it shows up to you as not trustworthy, and you just like, I don't believe it. And most of the information, and that's the shocking thing, really most of everything that comes gets blocked out altogether.
Oh, yeah.
And those become our blind spots. And then you make a decision and you want to, oh, no, where I did that.
Yeah,
Well, it's because you made a decision based on one of those unconscious blind spots that you didn't even have conscious information for. So we keep meeting our beliefs over and over again. So even though the reticular activating system does an incredibly vital job to us, but it also ensures that our lives basically become a self-fulfilling prophecy of our beliefs and experiences.
Oh, absolutely.
The thing to understand.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I've been in relationships. I mean, before I met the true love of my life, and started going out with her, I was in relationships where I thought I was in love, but really I was trying to please them instead of thinking, Jack, you need to think about yourself here. So, yes, I've been in situations where I've been used. I've been in situations where I've been mistreated. And did I keep coming back to it? Of course it did, because I thought there was somehow that person can change. But really, the truth of the matter was, nobody can change. They have to be able to change themselves.
Well, but the thing is, what you were doing is essentially what I was talking about first.
Exactly.
You went and you picked from the existing inventory. There's all these women. Well, that one's out there and she's not 100% perfect, but she's attractive enough and I'm going to go for it. And I'm just going to try and mold my needs to whatever it is she has to offer. And then, of course, it doesn't work. Because you have very specific, you are already a preformed person. You have your standards, you have your values, you have all these things that make up Jack. And
Exactly.
you're really not that flexible in that. Just like you can't change your eye color, you can't, you can put contact lenses in, but that's sort of try and change your eye color, your eye color.
Exactly.
You can't change who you are.
No.
And that's the idea of it.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I actually didn't know that exist what you were just talking about a few minutes ago but it does make sense. So I have to say that's the thing that makes you think that you might be in love, where really, no, this can't. You might feel what is called lonely, and a lot of people when they're lonely, and they want a relationship, they'll basically dive into the first relationship that takes place, like the first girl that asked them out. If that makes sense.
Jack, I dedicated an entire chapter just to loneliness because it is such a big deal. It's the reason most people go out and relentlessly hunt for a relationship. And it's also the reason they will probably never find it. Because again, you always meet yourself, you meet your own beliefs. And if you're lonely, the only other person that you can meet is another lonely person.
Exactly.
And we think loneliness is a thing that can be fixed from the outside. I'm lonely, and if I had this person in my life coming to me, then I would no longer have to feel that way. But it's not how it is. There is somebody missing in my life if I feel lonely, but the person that's missing is yourself.
Exactly.
And so loneliness is an inside job. So then when you get with somebody, just out of loneliness. At first you meet and you go, oh my God, that we're it. I can feel it. We have something in common. Well, the thing you have in common is loneliness.
Exactly.
That's the thing you have in common. So first, it's great. You suck onto each other and you do everything for each other and everything is great. But usually around 3 months into it, that feelings rises, that excitement sort of wanes, the feeling rises. And I said, what all of a sudden I'm feeling this way that I felt before, and I don't know what this is, but now it's your fault because now you said I was never going to be lonely again, but now I feel lonely again. But what is my own loneliness rising back up again, except now I'm blaming you for it.
Yep, exactly.
Well, that's why it'll never work with a lonely person.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And to share another part of my life there, after I got with my new girlfriend, it was almost like I was going through stuff in my head, and I said to myself, why in the heck did I almost cry over the last girl? Oh my goodness. Like, Jack, where was your head at? I mean, you got a new girlfriend, she treats you 100 times better than your last girlfriend, and you know, why in the world did you almost cry over her? I mean, it makes you ask those questions because I was lonely. That's why.
Well, it also meets those, it sort of meets those blind spots,
Yes.
that information that comes at you that you're not even conscious of.
No.
So you weren't really conscious of the fact that you were with her just because you were lonely and that she wasn't meeting any of your criteria, but
No,
she,
exactly.
that's the one
Exactly.
thing that you needed at the time, loneliness.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then later on you go, why did I do that? And you can't figure it out. It's
No.
because you information based on those blind spots.
Wow. Amazing. So, how well does this method work? I mean, how many people so far has this worked for? You know?
This is working incredibly well.
Wow.
I have two marriages already and a baby.
Oh boy.
And
Wow.
it comes really, really fast. Once you do the work, it comes really, really fast, because that is what the crux of the list method, the thing to turn it around. So instead of picking from the existing inventory, you start with yourself. Like you were saying, starts with self-love. You start with yourself. And in fact, if you go to my website, thelistmethod.com/workbook, you will find a free workbook for you to download to fill out and answer all these questions
Wow.
about yourself. Who am I? What do I really want? What are my standards? What are my desires? What does my ideal life look like? And what does my ideal love look like? What's the relationship dynamic who wants to be in charge? Who's the money maker? Who's the caretaker? All these questions you ask yourself. What is my ideal relationship in my mind? And you fill all that stuff out. And once you know all that stuff about yourself, it's pretty easy to extrapolate. If I know what kind of life I want to live, what is the person that my ideal match would look like? Obviously, they need to support me in the things that they need to have. We need to share the same hopes and dreams.
Wow.
Doesn't have to be the same exact person. Some people like having somebody that's more opposite. Some people like somebody that's more the same. Point is, whatever you like, that's what you write down.
Oh,
whatever
absolutely.
fulfills you, because again, like I said before, you already exist. You can't change your eye color. You cannot change who Jack is.
No.
So you have to figure out, who is Jack? Give Jack that honor. What does Jack want? And then you can figure out very easily, well, who matches Jack best?
Exactly.
Clearly, you already found that person.
Wow. And this book is going to be released February 14th, which is next Tuesday.
Valentine's Day.
That's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. Anyways, I want to thank Roger Neal for setting up this interview today. Roger, thank you so much. Roger Neal, great publicist, supports a lot of great clients, including Marni Spencer Devlin. And Marni, I want to thank you for taking time to speak with me and sharing me your book and all the great experience that people are going to look forward to of finding the love of their life just by reading this book.
Absolutely. Once you have the clarity about yourself and you have your list, it can literally take 2 days. That's how it was for me. Once I did the work, it took 2 days for Match.com to match me with what turned out to be the love of my life. So it is very, very fast. So please do read the book. Go to the website, go download the workbook, do the work, and it will be so fast that you will find the love of your life. I guarantee it.
Wow. Well, Marty, I want to thank you so much for speaking with me this afternoon, your time, ceding my
My
time,
pleasure.
and all the best to you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Jack. It was absolutely my pleasure to be on your show. Thanks so much for having me.
My
You take
pleasure.
care.
Take care.